G'day folks, Ben from Snowies. Today showing you the Joolca GottaGo portable toilet.
Get it.
This toilet separates solids from liquids, which means there's more time between empties. It's got an airtight and leak-proof design that's easier to transport. You can use it as either a regular chemical toilet or it's got a composting or bag options for various disposal methods. Before we dive in, we've got loads more content like this on our channel, so make sure you like and subscribe below. Now let's jump into the product. So this is Joolca's GottaGo toilet here in front of me. Different than the toilets we've known in the past, or they've sort of reinvented how you think about toilets. It doesn't have a flush tank in it, just uses water in the bottom here, and we'll go into how they've got around that shortly. But firstly, covering off on all the basic details. So it weighs 7.7 kilos, measures about 42 centimeters in depth, about 43 centimeters in height, 42 centimeter seat height to the front here, and about 38 centimeters in width. And if you've got it inside a caravan or somewhere where you're putting it up against a wall, you want to allow about 76 centimeters from the front to the rear here for this to open, just to give that clearance to be able to access the cassettes inside. Now this, the body of the toilet here is made of LLDPE, which is a linear low density polyethylene, a nice durable and flexible plastic that is really supportive, really strong, but it's also going to put up with a bit of flex, so made to be durable. Bit of a tour around the outside, lid on the top here, which latches closed, so that won't bounce open when it's in transport. If you can we just pull this out a little bit, the front flexes out to go over this lip here, and the lid opens, clicks closed again. Below that, a latch to open up the top section of the toilet here, and underneath that, a little indicator dial, which is the first indicator dial for the liquids tank at the front. That'll make more sense when we look inside, but it's a magnet operated dial that will engage once the tank's half full, and then it goes all the way to the red there once it's full, or once that tank starts to fill up. Going to flip around to this side here to show the second indicator dial here as well. This is for the solids tank, which is at the rear here. Once again, it's magnet operated. There's a little dial inside the tank inside, or the cassette inside, that will engage once it's half full. Then it goes right around to the red section here, which tells you when it is full. This handle here locks closed. It's got a little latch over the top, but this opens up the toilet inside. Once again, that'll make more sense once we open it up, and I'll show you in there. But if I push that in, lock that down, that secures that closed to keep the smells inside. At the back here, not much to see. You've got the hinges for the lid, and then the main section here. These are all, you can remove all this to make a really easy cleaning. You can actually pop this lid off if you like. So if you want to remove it all to clean it, and the same with this bottom section here, these hinges actually just slide off completely. So it's really easy to pull the toilet apart to clean it separately if that's what you want to do. And then on the last side here, this is actually a little accessory rail. I'll show you how to set that up when I open it up shortly, but you've got to lift it up and then pop it out. And that's where we hang the accessories that we'll show you a bit more on shortly. Let's have a look at how this toilet works. Firstly, by just looking in the top here. So open the lid up, it sits back nice and neatly here. And then you see in here, it looks a bit different than what you might expect when you look at a toilet, because you've got two holes here, I suppose. And this little point here is what Joolca have coined their Goldilocks zone. Done their research, and that's the best point to have that, to separate your liquids at the front and your solids at the back. The back here's got a nice large opening here, so if I pull the handle that we looked at earlier on the side here, pull this out, it opens up the latch inside the toilet there. You can see that this actually hermetically seals, or airtight seal, to the cassette inside. I'll show you a bit more on that shortly. This front one here can stay open. Liquids go in here, but I'll show you shortly as well. There is a little lid that we can put over the top of that to seal it if you are on really rough roads. Second lid, just like a standard toilet, that opens up here. So if you can, I guess if you're going to stand up, and men are going to use it standing up, I'd recommend sitting down. It's going to be less messy, but you can put the toilet seat up and down like a regular toilet if you like. Now we'll have a look at what happens underneath all of this, because this is where it gets pretty interesting with the Joolca GottaGo toilet. So starting up on the right hand side here, we're first going to just set up this accessory rail that I talked about before. So if I pull this upwards and then fold it out, that then sits out the side of the toilet. Now that is for our accessories, which are stored up underneath the top section here. So if I pull this out, this is what Joolca have coined their puka stick for cleaning. I'll show you a bit more on that shortly, but it hangs on the accessory rail here. So is the spray bottle, which is up in the lid here as well. You get a little spray bottle with it. Now you can use this with a combination of vinegar and water if you like to clean, or use something like a Thetford or one of the actual rinse aid cleaners that you can get for portable toilets. But that is the right size to just hang on the side here as well. So when you set up your toilet, you can leave these hanging here, and this is part of keeping your toilet nice and fresh. Having a look up underneath the lid here, you can see you've got rubber seals here to keep it nice and sealed against the cassettes underneath here. Not much more to see under there though, just the accessory storage points here. Now, having a look at the bottom section here, if I just let this go, the weight of this kind of pulls this bottom section up, or it does fold all the way back. So you can either take this off quite easily, just to put it next to the toilet while you're dealing with the business in the bottom here. Or if you've got it set up somewhere where this can just lean against something, I'm just gonna lean it against the shelving at the back here while I deal with this. Once this is full, that's probably gonna stay upright just fine, but as soon as you empty it, the top is heavier than the bottom, so just be wary of that. Now you've got two cassettes in the bottom here. We'll start with the front one here. Now this is 4.6 litres for our liquids. So it just pulls out, you've got this nice big handle here, so when it comes to emptying it, really easy to empty. Not much to see. You've got a bit of a handle here, I suppose, so when you do empty it, you can get your fingers underneath to pour it out. This is the little magnet dial inside that lines up with the dial on the front here, so you can sort of see just engages that, but once that's half full, this little magnet that sits in here engages that. And then you've got two lids on the top here, so if I put this down, you've got this lid here, which you need when you use it. If you are transporting it and you want to actually seal it up properly, you've got this lid that actually seals it closed completely. So you might want to use that one while it's in the car or while you're taking it to a dump point. And that just seals on top of the little notch here. Now this is made with a HDPE. When you come to needing to empty this guy, because you've only got liquids in here, it's a bit more versatile around where you can empty it. So you could just pour this into a toilet. Where it's allowed, you could pour it outside, but also into dump points and stuff as well, or on your garden at home if you want those plants that love nitrogen. Always check where you're allowed to empty these, whether a caravan park or something allows you to empty this into a toilet, but be mindful that you're only emptying liquids in this one here. So you can empty this in a lot more places than a lot of other toilets that mix both liquids and solids. So when you've got that emptied out and you want to use it, that just slots in the front here, and that's your liquids sorted. The back here is your solids one. Now this is where it becomes a little more messy, I suppose, when you're trying to deal with toilet waste while you're camping. Now you can actually get two versions of a cassette. When you buy the toilet, you can either buy the composting or the cassette version, or the chemical version, which is this one here. Or you could even get more of these. You could buy a second one of these, so you could just keep filling them up. If you've got longer between fills, once this is full, you take your full one out, put your empty one in, and you can keep going. Now this operates much like a regular cassette toilet does, in that you put your mix of chemicals and water as per the directions on here. So 3 litres of water, 100 mils of chemical, which is just your green or your blue chemical, one of these guys here, in the bottom of the toilet there to help break the waste down. That's then going to operate just as a regular chemical toilet. You do your business, you've got the latch on the side, so when it's on the toilet, you open this up. This fills up, and then when it comes to dumping it, I should also mention you've got this little latch here to make sure that it stays closed, it can't accidentally open. And when it comes to dumping it, you've got this point here, same as what you would have seen on a regular toilet. You open this up, you've then got a little valve on here. It's got vent and seal, so flick that around to the vent side. Hold this nice big handle here, carries really easily to and from your dump point. You've got a little latch under here for your fingers, and it's really easy to lift that up and empty it out. Now the other cassette is largely the same shape. I don't have one here to show you now, except the whole top comes off, and you can either use it as a composting toilet by putting peat moss or sawdust inside and doing your business straight in there, then emptying that into a compost heap. Or you can actually bag it. The whole top comes off. You can put a bag in there, and it's set up such that you can pull it out, twist it to tighten the bag up, and then just dump that at a waste dump where you're allowed to dump the solids. We will have a bit more information on those alternative cassettes when we've got one. I don't have one here right now. So once you've got this set up, you put your 3 litres of water and your 100 ml of liquid in there. You can just put this back in here, fits in and out really easily. Before I close this up and go any further, one other thing I want to mention is that you can, if you've got this set up in a caravan, you can actually switch this and this around. These are just little hex screws that fit these in here. So you can take your little dial here and put it on the accessory rail side and put your accessory rail on this side here. So if you've got a caravan that specific orientation is relevant to you, you can do that quite easily. So put this inside the toilet, and then when you close this top down, these rubber seals here seal against the top of these cassettes to stop any leaks. Now this rear cassette here gives you 11 litres of volume. The composting or the eco cassette gives you about a bit over 9 litres of volume before it's full. The benefit of this being separate, and now Joolca estimate that volume is going to give you around about 6 days for a family of 4. Obviously there's variables in that. But the benefit of this is if you are a long time or longer than a week between dump points and you got yourself a second cassette, once this is full, you can simply take this out. It's all sealed up, put an empty cassette in, and then when you do get to a dump point, you just have to empty your 2 cassettes. This guy here, as I mentioned, easier to empty that in a regular toilet or in the bush if it's allowed. So it gives you that flexibility for emptying. Now, how to use the toilet. So if we've set our cassette up inside here, we've put 3 litres of water inside the solids tank and about 100 ml of one of these liquids here inside, which is going to help break down the waste. Now we've only added 3 and a bit kilos to the total weight of the toilet. Other toilets that have a flush feature, you'll need to add 10 litres to 15 litres of water for the flushing action to work. You don't need to do that with this toilet here. No extra water. We've only used 3 litres, so if you're traveling somewhere where water is scarce, you don't need all that water for this toilet here. How do you use it? You would sit on the toilet. I'll sit on it shortly to show you how comfortable I sit and do your business. Before you do your business, if it's a number 2s, open up this side of the toilet here so that you've got your solids tank and your liquid tank accessible there. Do your business, then once you've finished, use these 2 things. You've got your spray bottle with either your rinse liquid or your vinegar and water if you want to be eco-friendly. Spray this in here and then use your puka stick, get a bit of toilet wrapped around the end and give this all a bit of a clean and poke it down inside the solids tank at the back here. You can clean the front one, but put the solids in the tank at the back there. Once you're done with that, you could probably spray this if you like, use some toilet paper to clean the end of this. You can then hang this back down on your accessory rail on the side here, same with the spray bottle. Hang it on the accessory rail on the side here, and then close it up. And that then seals the smells inside. Now just on odor, you don't need to worry so much about the odor coming from the front tank here. You can empty that more regularly. You can put a little cap on top if you like, but it's gonna stay reasonably sealed once you've sealed this lid down. With that closed, there's not much smell, but if you are worried about how it smells, using the right liquid inside to break it down is gonna minimize the smells. If you're using the compost or the eco cassette, you can add a bit of baking soda or some essential oils in there to try and make it smell a little bit nicer. But the eco cassette does have that same seal across the top, so you're only gonna notice those smells. Now I'm 185 centimeters, so 42 centimeter seat height. If I sit on this, feels as comfortable as a toilet's gonna get, just as comfortable as my toilet at home. So it's a good height for the toilet. That's the Joolca GottaGo toilet. It's a toilet that conserves water, so we don't have to put as much water in this before we use it. It's lighter to carry because we're not putting so much water in it every time we wanna use it. And it allows you to stay a little bit longer because you've got options for emptying these cassettes differently, and it's also easy just to take one cassette out and put another cassette in if you're traveling for longer periods. I'll just touch again on the emptying of cassettes. Your solids cassette, particularly if you've got one of the liquids to break it down inside, you can empty those inside of dump points and toilets only where it's allowed. If you use the eco cassette, that allows you to use dump points, but also to put it into compost or into landfill. And then that front cassette where it's just liquids, you can empty that in the bush where it's allowed. Always check regulations in the area, or in a toilet, once again, where it's okay to empty it in a toilet. But it allows a really convenient, easy way to empty that without making a mess of it. And the cassettes are really easy to carry. That is Joolca's GottaGo toilet, reinventing the way we look at portable toilets without using so much water, and gives us plenty of options to get rid of our number 1s and number 2s. Check them out online at snowies.com.au.